in the situation you're in right now?
I think it's huge. Just showing that we can defend home ice like that, and we won every game at home so far in the playoffs, which is awesome. And now we just got to get one there.
All right, cool. And then, Cameron, I'll ask you. I guess the same question. Obviously, Cale had a great night tonight. What is it that he brings to the team, in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, he's so calm. He can take like 2 4-checkers sometimes, and kind of make a one-man breakout sometimes. So, he's really calm back there. Him and Goose are a great pair. So to have them both is awesome.
All right, okay, cool. Yeah, I'll pass the mic here.
He's the best.
Yeah, I just want to say, you guys seem to be cooking offensively, but I think one thing that's really stood out also is how solid you guys have been defensively the last few games. Just, Andrew, first off, just got to ask you, what do you think has been the difference in how well you guys have been able to play on the back end lately?
I think just bearing down and playing to our systems. We work a lot on breaking the puck out, and I think when we do that, it makes our job a lot easier, especially for forwards. If we can break out smoothly and then, play to our strengths, which is an offensive zone and play with speed. So I think that's been a huge strength for us. And then you got Driegs on the back end holding it tight. He had that huge breakaway save on, I think, Tynan at the end. That really kind of killed their momentum and a huge point in the game.
Husey, for you, you were here last year, and you've seen what that team did to get as far as they got. But this year, this team seems like it can close out games. Does it feel different to you?
Yeah, I think you guys kind of a similar one last time. I think this team's different. Like, we took that experience from last year, but we're not thinking about last year at all. We're just playing. We got a new group. Guys are different points of their careers, so we're having fun with it. We're finishing out games, and we're not thinking about last year a whole lot. So yeah.
Cale, for you, how important is that first period on Sunday? It seems like it's going to be a defining moment.
I think with every playoff game, starts are very important. I think we did a good job of that tonight, obviously with 3 in the first period. Would love to do that again next game, obviously, but if not, we just got to stick to it, stick to our systems, and we'll be all right.
What did you see on your 2 goals? It seems like you guys were looking for blocker side a lot. Is that something you think he might be a little weak at?
It's part of the pre-scout for sure, is where the weak points are, but for me, honestly, it's just about finding lanes. Like the first one, Ryder made a great play. I only had one guy to get by, and that was kind of just a lane that was there. Honestly, same with the second one. It's just the lane that I'm seeing, I'll put it there.
Botsy, in the physical side of things, you guys play a style that can be physical, but you can also beat them with speed. You mentioned it earlier about you let them do their thing and you just kind of go around it, but is there a key to that, using your speed against their strength maybe?
Yeah, I think you just said it yourself. If they want to run around and get physical, then we'll just take the hits and use our speed and just go around them and just keep making plays. So, if any teams want to do that, and we're not going to back down either. We got guys who bang the bodies and will play physical as well. So, however teams want to play against us, we'll be ready.
Keeping your emotions in check, though, is sometimes easier said than done. What's the word in the locker room to maintain that across the board?
I mean, our playoff motto is good. Don't get too high. Don't get too low. Don't get us wrong. Like, we're happy we won 2 games here, but series you need 3 wins. So it doesn't really start till you win one on the road. We defended home ice, which is great, but we're not satisfied in this room, and we're gonna go out and play desperate hockey here in Game 3.
Cameron, I just wanted to ask, obviously sort of a talking point after the first game was that you only had 15 shots on goal, a franchise low. What was different about that tonight? How were you guys able to get a lot more sustained time in the offensive zone?
I think we did a better job of playing down like in their D zone. I think we kind of struggled that in Game 1. So just by like being in their zone and creating more havoc down there, we ended up getting more shots, and that's something we want to do. We've done it all year. We've been in the 30s, 40s kind of thing. So that's kind of how we can have success, and it was good tonight.
Thanks.
So Potsy, last game, I asked Coach how he was dealing with the whole baby watch, Any updates for us?
No updates. We're just patiently waiting here and taking it day by day.
Thanks, guys. Great win tonight.
many seating options, and they're actually all different chairs.
I don't like to have things change. Andrew?
Well, not much change tonight. You won again. Fifth consecutive playoff victory. As I asked Potsy, he seemed a little. He was nonplussed with this question, but I'll ask you the same. That there are chippy games, plucky games, but tonight seemed like a downright violent hockey game. Your assessment of that?
I agree.
Okay. By virtue of no, that's fine. It's a succinct answer. No
Yeah,
worries.
well,
The fact that you feel that you frustrated the Reign, that they got to the point where they were a little unsure of how to respond to you guys.
Well, I think the good part of that question is that they had to respond. They had to respond, and they had to respond because we got up in the game and we were playing good, got the results, got some goals, and they chose to respond in that way.
Is that level of intensity, very heightened level intensity? Again, the word violence comes to mind. Is that what you said you would agree with that? I mean, there are buckets flying all over the place. There are fights. You were there.
I was there.
Is that what you anticipated as this series moved along, given how the two teams played over the course of the season?
They're a big physical team. I think they got a enormous amount of skill in their top two lines, and kind of strength of their team is there, but they also have some physicality to their defense, physicality to their forwards, and I don't think it's a good thing if they think that being physical against us is gonna knock us off our game, because the guys proved tonight it's not.
Continue graduation and form and play for the Firebirds. Now 5 consecutive playoff wins. What specifically do you see that continues to get better aside from just the results?
It just feels like a different game presented to you every night so far in the playoffs, and good teams find a way to win the game that's presented to them, and maybe game one wasn't our best game, but we found a way to win. We found a way to do the things necessary to win a hockey game, and I think the good thing about our team is we've shown we can win hockey games different ways, and and tonight being no different. It was, we got out quick and we got out fast, and we got to some offense early on in the game, and then the game became a little bit of a, what'd you say?
Violent, I
Yeah.
think?
And we were able to. I thought the fourth goal was a really big goal for us. They got the power play goal to make it 3-1, and the game was turning into a low event game at that point in time. And to get the forecheck goal, Wentz brings it out at the front of the net, and Ryder capitalizes and gets a big goal for us, because it kind of, there was still more to play, but that was a big goal for us. And our guys just keep finding ways to win hockey games, and it's a credit to them. But it's type of playoff hockey. You're gonna get different games. There's gonna be highs and lows. There's gonna be a ride of emotion. There's gonna be
Violence.
and you just got to deal with it. And we've been to each one of our wins. They've kind of been different types of games, and we needed different things to be able to come up with a win. And tonight was no different.
I'll ask lastly their style. We talked about it the other night. Some of the players did as well, the 1-3-1 style. Different ways to combat that and neutralize that. And it seems like the best way is, well, score first or score first a
Yeah.
couple times.
You know, we have talked about it as a group. It's, you know, games against Ontario just are low event games, and you have to be patient and you have to be determined to keep playing, and when you get your opportunity, you got to make good on it. And the first goal was, you know, a prime example of that. But you know, this is the type of game that we expected, and we just got to be patient and determined, and you got to stay with it, and you got to don't get frustrated by how they're playing or what they're doing, and don't get frustrated by the physicality. You just got to keep your head, keep playing, and be the one that lasts on the end. And you know, we're 2 games into this series. It's not over yet, and we still got a long ways to go. And you know, now we're going on the road for 2 games in their building, and we just got to have that same mentality. Never heard of the Mike toss.
So, Dan, you guys are just 6 games into the postseason, but 12 different guys have scored. What can you say about the offensive variety you guys have had so far?
It's strength of our team. You know, I think we've been relatively healthy going into the playoffs, and that means you got, you know, 4 deep lines, 6 deep defense, and you know, the positive impact is not coming just in scoring, but it's coming from throughout the lineup. And you know, I gotta check the score sheet real quick again, but I'm pretty sure you're gonna Morrison got another assist tonight, and that makes 4 for him. And you know, he's if you want to label that, he's a 4th line guy for us, and he's on the score sheet. And the 4th line has been on the score sheet a lot for us through the first bunch of games here, and you know, Flowers stepping up and, you know, gets his first, second, and third playoff goals ever in his career. And Gustav Olsson, I think, has got 4 assists now through the 6 games, and but it's throughout our lineup. It's Max has scored, and Potsy's on the score sheet, and you know, Ryder's gotten a couple, and Shoresy's got 4 goals, I believe, to this point. So, and the 4th line has got 4 goals. So it's what makes us what makes us a good team. I've had a trouble tonight talking. I messed up on the bench a lot tonight.
So let me also ask you defensively. You know, a lot of the goals you guys are giving up are, you know, on when you're down a man. You haven't given up a lot of goals in 5-on-5. Do you feel like that's been something that you guys have been able to really lean on, you know, earlier in the postseason here?
Yeah, you know, I you know, if you're specifically talking about special teams, I think it's a game-to-game thing, and it's a moment-to-moment thing. I think you know, the 5-minute power play that we got due to the Hodgson penalty wasn't that good, but we scored right at the end of it with Flower getting that goal, and so it was a big goal, a big moment, and you know, Flower gets that goal and kind of puts an end to the special teams. You know, the PK tonight, like, they're dangerous. They're a dangerous power play. They have you know, the shooter, that's the one-time shooter that's super dangerous tonight, and you know, he got a couple opportunities. Driggs made a couple huge saves there on his one-timer, but for the most part, we took it away, and they got you know, shot from the half wall, somewhat a shot you most often give up, but got the tip on it, and the second one was the exact same. It was a shot from the flank, and might have been going wide, but they get the tip and it goes in. That's just how it happens sometimes. And going forward, special teams will be a big factor in the success of the next game, and we know where they're dangerous, and we just got to focus on taking it away and not giving them as many opportunities as maybe they got tonight, but also taking it away, and it will be a factor in the game, in Game 3.
Coach, I wanted to ask you about Kale specifically. I mean, as we know, he had a great night. There was that sequence where he had, 2 big hits on one end, scored, a minute later. I guess just in general, what does he bring to the table? This is a guy that was not on the team last year. What's he adding to the playoff mix this year?
Kale is he's a player I'm real familiar with, having coached him in Charlotte for most of the year, and again this year. He's a really good player. He's a really good defender. He's a physical defender. He's got a ton of poise with the puck, and when he's skating up ice, like he's a great player. And I think maybe early on in this season he was trying to find that form, but I think he's been our best player in the playoffs to this point. The physicality that you mentioned at the defensive end of the sheet, it's been there every night. You can look at Game 1, Game 2, Game 3 against Calgary. He's a big, heavy defender. He's get the responsibility usually of playing against the other team's best players, and he's doing a great job with it. But he's also doing a great job with playing with the puck and playing the offensive zone. And I told him I liked the second goal because it was a power play goal, but the first one was a little more vintage how Kale can play.
You mentioned the fourth goal, which I agree with you. I started to have that sinking feeling after they got that fluky first goal.
Shame on you.
I was told it's part of my Detroit Lions fan.
Yeah, well,
something bad.
that I can sympathize with.
So, like you said, when an unusual goal happens, like their first goal, how do you sort of regroup as a team, or is that a little unsettling when they get a weird goal, or is it just you guys have seen it all at this point?
Yeah, I honestly, the first time I saw the goal was 5 minutes ago. I saw it go in, but I had no idea how it did go in. I really think like playoff hockey it seems to have the weirdest kind of ebb and flow of the game, and the physicality and the highs and the lows, and the team that succeeds the most usually is the team that can deal with that ebb and flow and deal with the whatever, bad bounce, bad call, whatever. I didn't particularly like the first call of the game against us, but you got to deal with it. And I think, yes, the bounce was weird, and Max bats it and whatever happens. I thought the next 10 minutes was the reason why you had that Detroit Lions feeling. And I that's why I think, stuff happens. Like, we're going to get mad at the referee, and we're going to have a bad bounce, and they're going to get an opportunity. They're going to get on the power play. You got to deal with all those things in the playoffs. And I just thought the response to get that goal, the fourth goal, was a response to that last 10 minutes of hockey that was maybe not going perfect for us. To get that determined forecheck, bring it to the net, score a dirty goal by Righty there was a big push in the right direction for us.
Just one last question from me. I just wanted to ask you about Drieger. Obviously, another solid game. I thought he had to make more impressive saves tonight than in the first game. How do you feel like he's been playing, I guess, this whole postseason?
Yeah, I can look at about 4 or 5 saves in this game that were just huge saves for us. The one, Fujimo got the power play one time or a couple times, and it wasn't going in the net. Like just super solid pushover and ate both of those. It was great. 2 breakaways. The game's still kind of still going, and Tynan gets the breakaway. But he had another one where they got a break in and two really big saves for us, and just kind of gives you that confident feeling that you can salt the game away when you get goaltending like that.
Yeah, and championship teams, and you've been around a lot of them, they find ways to stay calm, and they find ways to close out, and they find ways to answer back. Is this a championship team?
That's what we're trying to be. That's what we're trying to be. I said playoffs is it's a long and arduous battle, and you want it to be long and arduous, and you want it to be difficult, and it's going to be difficult. And teams that end up winning are teams that can tell a story of all these instances that happen in a game, that you respond, and you're physical, you block a shot, you get a big goal, you get a goal with 5.5 minutes to go in Calgary to tie the game up, and then you find a way in overtime to get, the players write that story. And good teams continue to write that story over and over and over and over again, and that's what it takes in the playoffs, because it's going to be, you're talking about something that's a long ways in the future for this group, but you just got to keep winning those hockey games. You got to keep doing the right things. You got to keep finding ways to win hockey games, and keep making sure you have the pen in your hands to write the story at the end.
I'm not going to use the violence word. I'm going to say intense. But the first period, there was a break in action, and it looked like Max was taking over the intensity part of it. Did it feel that way? Did he step up tonight, or was I just seeing things?
Well, you were seeing that. I don't think he was the only one. I don't know where anybody would get the feeling from our team that we're not up for that challenge. I think some of the strength of this team is that is the physicality, is the intensity, and we're fine if that's what they would like to do.
Okay, final one for me is how important is the first period in Ontario? It looks like it's a tone setter for the series.
It's just the next. It's just the next period. I think. I change of venue. Obviously, that's happening. But our guys are ready and prepared for 5 games, and the result of game 1 and game 2 are in our favor, but we're not. We're looking at this being a long drawn out affair, and so game 3 is just we have to break after the clock hit 0 tonight, and the continuation of that is going to be in Ontario come Sunday night at 7 o'clock, and our guys will be ready.
So since the word is intensity, and we're talking violence,
I'm not saying it.
Violent intensity. Since we're talking about penalties and just the momentum changes that they can make, and the Detroit fear that can create because of how things can change. Do you talk about that maybe being a something that needs to be controlled, or because those penalties become a part of the game and just the intensity of that game, do you kind of let those things slide, or is it something that you really have to dial down into?
A little bit. A little bit. It's different from game to game. I think depending on the referees that you have, you get a different tenor to the game and how it's going to be called and the penalties and tonight was a different tenor than game 2. Clearly right from the start they called a penalty on us for something that happened 6, 7, 8 times in the previous game, and that wasn't called. So I think each game you have to be adaptive to what the ref is going to call or not call. So I think I didn't like I didn't certainly like our fourth and fifth penalty that we took. They were penalties that we knew the ref was going to call, and we still took them. So we talk about it, and we talked about it before the game. We anticipated this game being called a little bit different, and we anticipated how the ref was going to call it, and we were well aware of it. But you also have to play the emotions of the game, and maybe we could have done a better job tonight playing those emotions and not taking those penalties. But those are the guys that are in the fight and in the battle, in the arena, and yep, we could do a better job of what we did tonight. But that's something you got to deal with on a game-to-game basis, and we know they're a good power play team. We're not trying to give them that opportunity.
If you bring too much attention to it, do you feel like in some ways that could create some conservatism that you wouldn't want in the team?
No. Yes,
So
you always get the last one.
I know, I'm just lucky, aren't I?
Yes. You need to start sooner.
So last game we saw the Rain make the adjustment with the 1-3-1, and it looked like it took us a little while to figure things out. This game didn't really seem to affect us that much. What adjustments do you think are going to be made going into the next game between both the Rain and on your end?
Yeah, I think to be quite frank, they haven't maybe gotten into the 1-3-1 as much as we have expected. Game one we made an adjustment, and the adjustment didn't really do very well. So kind of we adjusted a little bit to tonight to playing against it, but at the end of the day, our best success is playing fast and quick against it, and that is where we had a little more success tonight, and really a lot of it's about I say puck management, but really it's if you can execute with the puck with support and with speed, whether you carry it in or whether you put it in to the offensive zone, you can have people on it and have support onto the puck, and that's what we did a better job of tonight.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks. Good win.
Thank you.